Well, let's settle for details of all of these stories that we have for you. MP for North Tongue, Samuel Ablakwa, has revealed that the push by the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SSNIT, to sell majority shares in its hotels to our great minister, Brian Achampon, is progressing despite public fury over the decision. Now, the minority caucus in Parliament, organized Labour and other groups have vowed to demonstrate against the sale of the said hotels tomorrow. Ahead of that, they have been addressing the media on their preparations. Listen to MP for North Tongue constituency, Samuel Ablakwa.
The intended sale of SSNIT's 60% stake in 4 hotels has taken another turn. Well, this time, a demonstration is about to be held on Tuesday, the 18th of June, led by the minority caucus in Parliament, reps of organized Labour and other interest groups. Now, the demonstration will begin at Labadi Beach Hotel, one of the hotels that are up for sale. Listen to MP for North Tongue, Samuel Ablakwa.
You will be seeing in our petition that we insist that President Akufo-Addo should immediately stop the sale of our SSNIT hotels. We want an immediate declaration from the President, because since we started this agitation, all the President has done is to ask organized Labour to go and meet the employment minister, to go and meet the SSNIT board, at which meetings, as organized Labour has told us, these appointees of the President try to convince them to agree with them for the sale to go ahead. So clearly the President and his appointees don't want to stop the sale. And we are going to insist tomorrow that the President announces that they are backing out of this unconscionable transaction.
Speaker after speaker, all the interested parties are vehemently against the sale of these hotels.
You can't say that we're union. Why do you participate in? Any trade unionist who will talk like that does not deserve to represent workers. It's as simple as that. And me, I'm very happy. I think that God himself has sent the honorables to intervene. Otherwise, look, they will sell the hotels, they will sell the SSNIT itself, and everything. That's what they wanted to do. So, because look, it's very serious. Because if the ILO, International Labour Organization, will write, because this ILO, they are composed of employers, government, and workers. So if they have come out with a report saying that SSNIT will not live beyond 10 years, it's very serious. Me, I'm on retirement. So my small thing that I'm taking to survive till I go away is not going to come. And I cannot buy my medications. So the youth too, you before you get there, everything is finished. And that will be you. So we thank our honorables for their intervention, because this battle, organized Labour, we couldn't have. We could not have. We have failed to deliver, to be able to confront this thing.
Who is Brian Achampon? Brian Achampon is a cabinet minister, and per Article 78, Clause 3, which says that a minister cannot hold any other office of profit, whether private or public.
It's so disheartening what is happening in this country. The few people have the impunity to grab, taking our monies with impunity. They do not care about the welfare of the masses of the people. Ghanaians are suffering, and a few people are enjoying.
Well, they promised a peaceful protest because they say they are law-abiding citizens and have invited all Ghanaians to join them in this protest. From the press center in Accra, Kenneth Jesse for JoyNews.
All right, so welcome back. Let's do more on this particular story and get into the studio and speak to the Honourable Member of Parliament for North Tongue, Samuel Ablakwa, who has been at the forefront of this crusade against the sale of the SSNIT hotels to the Rock City Hotel. Now, today he's calling for the suspension of this process because, when this whole thing started, the president asked Labour to meet with the Labour and Employment Minister, but nothing else has started. We want to find out from him what he knows, why this call at this time. Honorable, good afternoon. Thanks for coming.
Hi, good afternoon.
Now, we knew that when this whole thing started, the president was notified. We thought that processes would have been halted. Why are you now calling that they have to halt?
Well, that's what we all thought. Indeed, the president asked organized labor to go meet with his employment minister and the board of SSNIT. We all thought that processes were underway for the president to listen to the agitations, the overwhelming condemnation of the deal. Unfortunately, from what organized labor has told us, when they went into those meetings, the appointees of the president, both at the Ministry of Employment and on the board of SSNIT, sought to rather convince them that this was a good deal, which was in the national interest. They were outraged, left the meeting, engaged the media and their partners, and sent very clear message that their position is not changing. They are even more convinced, after listening to the board of SSNIT in particular, that this deal cannot be in the national interest. From what we gather, particularly latest documents we've intercepted, it's clear that the process is underway. They are doing final due diligence, and we've intercepted all those documents. And Rock City is on the verge of being handed over these hotels. So we must ratchet up the pressure, escalate the agitation. That is why we notified the police in compliance with the Public Order Act that tomorrow, the 18th of June, at 8 a.m. sharp, we will be converging in front of the Labadi Beach Hotel to protest. We will let the whole world see the Labadi Beach Hotel in all of its magnificence. The claim that these are hotels that have been run down, that are not worth our SSNIT investments, the contributions that we have made over the years, cannot be true. We want Ghanaians to see the true state of these hotels, away from the propaganda. We want them to also see the state of La Palm Royal. And then from La Palm Royal, we'll use the Gifford Road, proceed through the Jawala Road, Cantonments, Post Office, then the Parks and Gardens, DVLA, all the way to the Christ the King Church. The Ghana Police Service is saying that they don't want us to get too close to the Jubilee House. So they want us to terminate in front of the Christ the King Church so that representatives of the president will walk over across the street from the Jubilee House to receive our petition. We have agreed with them. We are very peaceful, law-abiding citizens. We don't want any confrontation, any violence. All we are saying is that the president should listen to us. We are the real owners of these hotels, the Ghanaian people. These are hotels that are valuable. They are great brands. They are profitable. The irony is that all the documents we have now gathered on this transaction, Labadi Beach Hotel, only last year, posted a profit of 158 million Ghana cedis. Only last year, Labadi Beach Hotel paid dividends to government to the tune of 25 million Ghana cedis. The year before, 10 million Ghana cedis. From what we have seen, Labadi Beach Hotel is in the position of paying even higher dividends this year. If you look at the Deloitte report, and Deloitte, we all know the reputable global audit firm, Deloitte and Touche, they are saying that Labadi Beach is so profitable that their cash reserves in their 5 local bank accounts is 58.4 million.
That's what this report is saying.
That's what the reports are saying. And I will share them, I'll leave them with you. Ridge Royal, another profitable hotel.
In Cape Coast.
In Cape Coast. So if you look at the fact that even La Palm Royal, which is struggling only recently, it used to be profitable, it is largely because of bad management. They have appointed square pegs in round holes. If you change the management, because we have put out memos where a deputy MD acts as MD at La Palm Royal and demands to be paid $18,000 for 6 months, $3,000 in addition to her salary. Where does this happen? So it is the bad management practices and the clear looting of these few hotels which are struggling. Remember that the others are doing very well. Now, if you also compare these hotels with the newly established Rock City, in terms of expertise, in terms of experience, in terms of brand recognition, And then in terms of financials, because when this whole deal started, when I blew the alarm, SSNIT issued a statement on the 19th of May, telling the Ghanaian people that they have had to take this decision to sell the hotel 60% of their shares to Rock City because they want to bring in a strategic investor who will turn these hotels around so that they will be profitable, so that they will be efficient, so that the long-term sustainability of the pension funds will be guaranteed. When you go through the financials, that statement was palpable falsehood. Labadi Beach Hotel is so profitable. And the irony is that the buyer, Rock City Hotel, we have now obtained filings that Rock City itself carried out at the Ghana Revenue Authority in compliance with our laws. You know that at the end of every year, companies must, file their returns so that the taxman, GRA, will know how much tax you must pay. Will you believe that? Rock City, despite all the hype, is loss-making. Rock City made
That's
losses.
what they are.
Yes.
So what does the document say?
Rock City is making losses of about 1.7 million. So
and this for which year?
So for last year, 2023.
Last year.
Yes, their latest
million losses.
Yes, their latest filings as at April this year. In the entire history of Rock City, they've made profit only once, and that is in 2021, where they declared a profit of 1.6 million. Only once. Okay. And 1.6 million is what Labadi Beach Hotel is using for its corporate social responsibility.
Okay.
So if you compare the hotels, Rock City rather needs salvation from these hotels that are being sold. And then...
But are we not only using Labadi Beach, which seem to be doing so well, to defend the other three hotels, which of course, including La Palm, which you say recently is struggling?
Yes. So you see...
is that not what we are doing?
That's not what we are doing. You see, you need to bear in mind that when you come to assess these assets, you must look at their brands. You see, these are assets that have brand recognition. Everybody in this country, on the continent, the hospitality industry, knows about La Palm, knows about Elmina. You must take into consideration the land. You know that in Ghana in particular, these beachfront, prime locations, they are always appreciating. So you don't just look at even the books. So we are saying that even the modeling, how they are assessing these hotels, is wrong. Nobody is looking at goodwill. Nobody is looking at brand. Nobody is looking at reputation. The assets of these facilities, the land, the prime land, all of that ought to be taken into consideration. And then if you look at the fact that how come the same stretch, the same beachfront, you have Labadi Beach Hotel doing so well, so profitable, same location, same conditions, it's a 5 minutes walk, and then La Palm Royal only recently is struggling. It tells you that it's a management issue.
Okay.
Because when you look at even the assets, La Palm is bigger than Labadi. La Palm has more rooms. La Palm has a larger banquet hall, more conference facilities, more than Labadi has. So it is really strange. The only plausible explanation is the bad management practices and the fact that the managers at La Palm Royal ought to be changed. Just do that. Don't sell it off, especially when these assets over the years, over many, many years, have helped Ghanaian workers. Look, this is a struggle for Ghanaian workers, for our future. We hope to retire so that all these investments, which are contributions, and already our salaries don't even take us home. Under the law, it is an obligation. If many workers had an option to save because of the scanty salaries they get, they would rather not pay anything.
Yeah.
But the law says that let us, and it's also for good reason, so that in the future when you cannot work, there is something that is preserved for you. But the way SSNIT is managing our pension funds, don't forget that we are having this discussion within the context of the ILO report, which is suggesting that if SSNIT do not change, and it is because of practices like this, if they don't change their management practices, their recklessness, by 2036, they will not be able to pay pensions. I mean, that's a scary prospect. Very, very scary indeed. And you see, this statement that SSNIT put out on the 19th of May, a copy of which I have here, claiming that they are doing this to increase efficiency, to bring profitability, shareholder value, long-term sustainability of the SSNIT pension scheme. The question that many people are now asking, if you read the SIGA report, of all SSNIT investment, the latest SIGA report, and SIGA is the State Interest and Governance Authority, the latest SIGA report submitted to Parliament reveals that the worst performing SSNIT investment, worst of all time, is STC.
Okay.
According to the SIGA report, in 2017, STC made a loss of 28.9 million. In 2018, 18.1 million. In 2019, 27.9 million. Can you believe that? Nana Akomia's STC. And the irony is that Nana Akomia is supporting this transaction. 2020, 32.5 million losses. 2021, 52.4 million. Shocking. According to SIGA, STC is making losses on the average, 32 million Ghana cedis on the average.
Okay.
Very frightening. So the question that you ask is, if truly SSNIT is concerned about loss-making
assets
under its investment portfolio, why are they not looking at STC?
But at a point in
clearly, STC is not profitable. So you see, it exposes the real intention. They have packaged these hotels. They've looked at the books. They see how profitable it is. Look, if you look at the terms, we have intercepted memos where Rock City, what they are offering is just about half of the actual valuation of the 4 hotels.
So you're saying that's in opposition to what SSNIT itself put out, because SSNIT says what Rock City brought was even higher than the valuation they had done.
Well, I've never heard SSNIT say that.
Because I read here,
What?
it says, on the basis, SSNIT says the total bid by Rock City for the 4 hotels was above the valuation placed on the hotels, which with a total bid of 60% as $61.2 million US compared to the total value of $59.1 million US.
That is palpable falsehood. If you look at the internal memos that we have intercepted, the SSNIT valuation is clear that the 4 hotels, fair market value, is $121 million. That's what they are told. You see, SSNIT thought that we would not have the capacity to intercept documents, to secure all the documentation that we need to wage this crusade.
Okay.
We have it. It's $121 million.
For the 4?
Fair market value, yes. If you look at, if you even go...
Is that from their own valuation report?
Their own valuation report. Their own valuation report. And you see, if you even look at I have the individual breakdown of the
various hotels.
The various hotels, the valuation report. You have a situation where, if you take Elmina, the valuers are saying that at least fair market value should be $7 million. Fair market value. Rock City is offering only $2 million for Elmina.
But I thought they said Elmina was out of the... It was...
No, Elmina is part of it. They said Buzia and Trust Lodge. Those two
were out, okay.
That itself is problematic. You see, why do you allow Rock City to go around and select the juiciest, the most profitable? The reason why you tell us yourselves you are bargaining on this sale is for somebody to come and save your non-performing assets. Now, if the person comes here and says that, having gone around, having done my due diligence, I don't like Buzia, I don't like Trust Lodge because they are the worst within the portfolio in terms of profitability. It defeats the purpose of the whole thing. That is why organized labor at their press conference on the 20th of May says that under our procurement laws, the whole procurement process should have been aborted. Okay. And you should have redone the procurement. Because what you advertise, what you told the world and all those who were coming to bid, that you would do. That's not what you ended up doing. Now, don't forget that when you also allow 2 of the worst hotels to be taken out of this transaction, you are shortchanging Ghanaian workers. Because what is going to happen to those 2? And people are now going to just offer, if you ever even offer them for sale, people will offer you next to nothing. But when it is part of the whole group, the whole consortium, people will see what is good, what is lucrative. Okay, Labadi is in there. Rage Royal is in there. La Palme is in there. And then you get a good deal. That is why normally such transactions are put together in one pool, so that there can be best value. But when you allow Rock City, your preferred bidder, to pick and choose, and now they've left us with what has been really run down by these same government officials appointed over the years. Who is going to take them? Who is going to revive? Who is going to resuscitate Trust Lodge and Buzia Lodge?
But isn't this for the reason why SSNIT wants to prevent, in quote, a rundown in the future? Why they want a strategic partner to take over? For instance, you were mentioning STC. I'm sure in the past, STC at a point was profitable. But how we've managed it over the years has brought it to where it is. So in preventing these hotels from getting there, that's why they say, let's allow a strategic partner to take over. Isn't that feasible?
So my response to you is that as a country, when are we going to learn from history? When the first coup happened on the 24th of February 1966, and Kwame Nkrumah, the Osagifo, was overthrown, all those who came after Nkrumah said, oh, government has no business doing business. Let's privatize. Over 300 industries and factories privatized. They claim that, oh, it is best in private hands. Today, I have seen studies that show that of the over 300 industries, probably only 2 have survived. Only 2. So our history teaches us that this claim of privatization has not helped us. It has not delivered any value.
Really?
What happens is that these assets become owned by individuals. If you look at what is happening in the case of these hotels, Labadi Beach Hotel is a very interesting case study. So about 12 to 14 years ago, they were struggling. Then a new management was brought on board. They were even experts. They signed a management agreement with them. They turned only a management agreement. They don't have shares. We still retain our ownership. The new managers, with best practice, were able to turn it around. Then we asked them to go. You've done your part. It's 10 years. Leave. And handed over to the local capacity they had built, those who understudied these foreigners. And see the wonders they are doing. Over the last 3 years, Labadi Beach Hotel has swept all the awards. They've won more than 20 awards. In the 5-star category, it is the best performing hotel. So we have 2 scenarios. What we have been doing since 1966, which has led to massive job losses. It has prevented us from industrializing as a nation. It has not advanced our welfare in any way. Then the second model, what was done at Labadi, which has served us well and has proven to be so profitable. It tells you that the issue really is about management. Don't put square pegs in round holes. Stop this political patronage, party apparatchiks, jobs for the boys. That is what is destroying these state assets. Be professional. When we tried it with Labadi, we adopted a professional approach, handed over to professional Ghanaians who had understood it. See the wonders they are doing. See the dividends they are paying. See how much profit they are making. So look, I am clear in my mind that going back to this reckless model of washing our hands and not getting any returns and selling these hotels for cheap, the don't come, it has to stop. Look, in this discussion, if anybody has any doubt that this is just a matter of state capture. Look at what has happened to Labadi Beach Hotel's beachfront. I have put out latest revelations that apparently Labadi Beach Hotel is the only beach hotel in the world that does not have full control over its beachfront. Can you believe that?
Really?
Can you believe that? And it is because of, again, the political hijack. People in high places who feel connected, who just take advantage. I have been told by insiders, board members. That is why they dismissed the former MD, Vincent Ernst, René Vincent Ernst, the Dutch MD who was dismissed, because he colluded with top politicians. Now, this is how it started. So, court documents, confirmed court documents, incontrovertible.
You have them here?
Yes.
You have the court document here?
I have the soft copies on my phone. I didn't bring the court document, but I have all of them, over 800 pages.
Okay.
So it's difficult to carry them, but I have digitalized all of them, so I can forward them to you.
Okay.
And I've been serializing them on my social media handles. Now, so
let me just say that we as JoyNews probably we don't share in this view of yours. We dissociate ourselves. It's fully your
problem.
thought. Okay.
And that's fine. Indeed, I have dared all those who are issuing threats to go ahead and take me to court.
Okay.
But what is incontrovertible is the fact that in 2018, a gentleman called Loic Devas Jr., told he's a Belgian Ghanaian, I don't know him, came up with this business idea that President Akufo-Addo has announced year of return. Labadi Beach Hotel is it's an iconic brand. So he wants to organize an entertainment extravaganza, have artists, our local talent perform for these Africans in the diaspora who are visiting Ghana. So he goes to approach his friends, who are the Blay brothers, Kwawosima Blay and Kwame Adinkama Blay. And they register a company called Gold Coast Expo Limited. And they staged the first Polo Beach Club event in 2019. They signed a joint venture agreement between Loic Devas Jr., the Blay brothers, and Labadi Beach Hotel that they will share the proceeds. Now, for transparency, they say that all the patrons of the beach club events should come through the frontage of Labadi Beach, go through the reception, so they can all keep records, know the gate proceeds, and know how to share them. Shockingly, the joint venture agreement was not respected. When it became clear that the proceeds are so good, and this is such a juicy business, so again, when they tell you that these are non-performing assets, they then decide to hijack the whole business. That is what made, we would not have had all of these revelations if their business partner, Loic Devas, did not feel cheated. That they've changed the software, they've denied him access to the money, to the accounts, the proceeds and all of that, and went to court. In the process, then Labadi Beach Hotel, the board and management also got to know that, this is what is going on. The board found out that, you didn't even bring this to our attention, we don't have a share, we are losing revenue, and all has gone to one side, And so they launched an internal inquiry and they dismissed their MD. Now, fast forward, what has happened is that a new entrance has been created away from the Labadi original entrance. And the Blay brothers say that they now control the beachfront. They've gone to see some people, La Traditional Council. I've seen statements from members of the La Traditional Council saying that they have not sold off the beachfront.
So what was the court case about?
So the court case is about how Loic Devas has been cheated, how the joint venture agreement was not respected. So he wants compensation. He wants his share of the proceeds from the Polo Beach Club events. Ultimately, what this reveals is that Labadi Beach Hotel now does not have control, and they are helpless. Board members have told me that they are helpless. They have lost their beachfront. They are losing revenue. These people the Blay brothers have constructed huge structures. It's affecting even viewership. People come to a beach club hotel so they can view the beach. They can't view. There's a lot of noise and all of that. It's affecting revenue. So look at how, despite all of these challenges, they are still making profits. Imagine how much profit they will have made without all these encumbrances, this encroachment, by the Blay brothers. So it tells you that when we talk about classic state capture, this is it. People have seen how profitable, the political elite have seen how profitable these hotels are and just want to have it for themselves. Look, I have been asking. So we come into public office. We are in government. I remember I've been asking this question more than 16 years ago. 16 years ago, I and my good friend Omane Buama took the Honorable Jacob Echebilamte when we discovered that he was buying his bungalow, the bungalow he has stayed in. We argued that if all the ministers since Kwame Nkrumah's time were buying their bungalows, there would have been none left for him to occupy and serve this country. In a 6-3 decision, we were denied victory. But if you read the dissenting judgment, specifically Justice Sophia Akufu's judgment, she said that they had missed an opportunity, that they should have avoided technicalities and looked at the bigger picture, the bigger moral issue, and that this may come to haunt us one day. And there we are. Sophia Akufu has been vindicated. Well, that was a golden opportunity. So I am making the point that I have always been against public officials. Look, you are sitting in cabinet, you're a minister of state. And look at the irony. You tell all of us that, oh, these hotels are not profitable. Oh, they are not good for the rest of you. Oh, workers, forget about it. It's not a good hotel. And yet, you want it for yourself. If it can be good for you, one man, a Greek minister, why can't it be good for all of us? These are hotels paying dividends, paying taxes. Over the last 3 years, Labadi alone has paid taxes 20.5 million. Rock City is not paying any taxes because they are making losses. I mean, does this make sense? Then I've also been asking, so we are told by our friends in the MPP that the Honorable Champon is probably one of Africa's best hotelier. He has such a fantastic hotel management expertise.
Which SSNIT also allude to.
Yes, SSNIT is claiming that, less than 5-year experience is better than the Deloitte. Deloitte is saying that Labadi has 40 years of expertise, of experience amongst its management when they put all together. But SSNIT prefers to go with the 5 years one, less than 5 years.
But the 5 year you're talking, are you talking about the combined management experience or just the entity? Since
the combined management experience.
Of Rock City?
No, of the management of
Labadi. 40. And I'm asking you
Yes.
that, what about the combined management experience of Rock City?
It's less than 5 years. Yes, less than 5 years. Less than 5 years.
The
yes.
combined management experience.
Yes, combined management experience. Less than 5 years. If you read their financials, and I've read all of them, I have all those documents. Now, I have been asking, so why is it that you are sitting in cabinet, you're a cabinet minister, you have all of these great expertise, great ideas. You cannot bring it to bear at cabinet so that all of us will benefit. Why do we send people to cabinet? If you read our constitution, cabinet is simply a place a few people go to brainstorm. Ministers go with their expertise, their capacity, their know-how, they bring it to bear so that it will benefit the country. You say that the only way you can bring that expertise to bear is if you buy the hotels. If the hotels are for you, it's your private property. That's when you can bring the expertise to bear. Is this right? Is this patriotic? I mean, so why are you in cabinet?
But since he's not taking 100% ownership and he's taking just 60%, if he makes profit, the state still gets 40% of that.
Good.
Isn't that better than to lose? For example, we've only mentioned how profitable Labadi is, but we've not spoken about Lapam. You even alluded that over the years it's made some losses. What about Ridge Royal? What about Elmina? Are they also making profit? We've not really come up with the numbers that these people, these entities are also making.
Yeah. So let me address the 60% issue. Don't forget that in these share structures, 60% is a controlling
That's true. Yeah.
share. So he is going to call the shots. He is going to be the new owner. He will even decide whether the workers there will survive or not. And that is why organized labor is up in arms and they are so outraged about this transaction because there are even no safeguards. Because anytime you see, in our history of diversity as a country, anytime you see inject efficiency, what it means is redundancy. There's going to be massive layoffs. That's what is going to happen. That has been our history. Anytime you see efficiency. Now, let me address the issue of, they will share the proceeds and all of that. right from the beginning, we are not getting value for money. This $61 million he's offering is far below the fair market valuation, far below. So that's where the losses begin. And he has a track record. If you look at how he came to obtain the 25% share in Grand Regency Hotel in Kumasi, which used to be the Kumasi Catering Guest House. SSNIT's own valuation put the figure at 8.6 million Ghana cedis. He didn't pay that. He refused to pay that. He offered only 7.4 million, and even that, he didn't pay at once.
Really?
Yes.
And there are documents to
There are
prove
documents to
that he
that.
didn't
I have,
pay.
yes, I have put out all those documents, including board minutes, including what he actually paid and all of that. So there's a pattern where he never agrees to pay actual valuation. He did it with Grand Regency, he's doing it with this. Now let me come to the other hotels. Ridge Royal, what saddens me about Ridge Royal is that from the records I have, only recently, SSNIT has extended facilities to Ridge Royal in excess of 70 million Ghana cedis to renovate the place, put it in great shape. Over 70 million. If you knew you were going to sell it, why waste our workers' contribution?
Which year did they give this money?
Over the last 10 years, it's been going on.
70 million.
Yes,
cedis.
yes, 70 million cities.
Cumulatively, you
About
mean?
72 million cities cumulatively. And so they've spruced up the place. If you go to Ridge Royal,
Yeah.
you'll see that, state-of-the-art, modern facilities. And then see what is on offer. $8.4 million. And even that below the valuation. You come to Elmina Beach Resort. Yes, Elmina is one of those struggling. But if you look at even what the chiefs have said about Elmina, the Dinner Traditional Council has issued a statement. And the Mahine has made clear that because we're going to put up a hotel for the public good, which will create jobs for their people and all of that, they didn't even ask government to pay the fair market value. So they feel that, look, if now you are going to privatize it, give majority shares to an individual, then come back to us. You need to talk. Now, if you consider all of that, including the value, it's a very long stretch. All analysts who have looked at the valuation and how much Rock City is offering for Elmina are just outraged. Just $2 million. I mean, the land alone for that beachfront. And we all know Elmina, the significance. That's the first place these slave raiders went to. It's the number one place when it comes to tourists who want to know about the slave trade. It's a UNESCO, designated area.
And recently I heard the cruise ships were able to dock around the area.
Yeah, it's a place that you don't toy with at all, So where is the value of all of that in this? And it's going for a song. It's going for a song. Look, elsewhere, because of the strategic importance of a hotel there and its linkage with our tourism, our heritage, our culture, and all of that, it will not even be added to transactions of this nature. Because don't forget that the state is only talking about retaining 40%, which means that you are minority. You will not have control. You won't have a say. If he decides today that, look, I want to convert this into high-rise apartments, he will just pay you out, and that's it. So look, anyhow, any way, whichever angle, whatever perspective you introduce, this transaction is not in the national interest.
But Sami, which is better? Having 100% in a non-performing asset and having 40% in a well-performing asset, which is better, really?
My response to you is non-performing from when? So suddenly, all the years that these assets helped us, made profits, we want to pretend that it doesn't matter. And I have told you that let's learn from Labadi. Fortunately, we have best practice. So Labadi Beach Hotel began to struggle after initial years of making profit. We then decided, look, bring in this South African legacy, they call the company. They are renowned globally. Let them come and teach us hotel management expertise, their skills. Let the locals understudy. And when they are gone, give it to the locals. Don't just bring political apparatchiks. Let them, those who have understudied, continue what they were doing. And see, 158 million last year, 70.7 the previous year. Few hotels made profit after COVID. Labadi Beach Hotel made profit. So let's just adopt that model. This model has worked for us. Why do you want to change it?
Isn't it the same model that they are using to run Ridge Royal and Elmina? You've said Labadi, as for that, they've employed Square Pegs in round holes. What about Ridge Royal and Elmina?
So Ridge Royal, Elmina, La Palm, they don't have any management contract. They're just appointing, the politicians are appointing people there.
Really?
Yes, that's what is happening. There's no management contract. So the board, the SSNIT board and management and referrals from politicians, or we want this person to go and manage La Palm.
And that's it?
Give her the job. And that's it.
And that's what they do?
And that's it. That's what they do.
You sure?
Oh, yeah, that's what is happening. That's it. So even in one of the justifications that SSNIT has put out, they are saying that when they become minority and they don't have controlling shares, then it keeps them away from the political interference, the political domination, and they are therefore insulated so that politicians will not be insisting on who should run these companies. They are out. Now you have to go and, if you have anybody, you can only call Brad Champong, who is the director. He's one of two directors of Rock City. He's the sole beneficial owner. He's the sole shareholder.
But he's explained that he's not,
the
day-to-day management is not his problem. He's just given the vision.
That, again, that claim has been exposed by the chiefs of Edina, who say that they saw him come in there, doing the due diligence, trying to take over the hotel. The Edina Omahini.
Really?
Yes.
That he himself was there?
Yes, the Omahini has written, yes. And that has not been challenged. You know, I've been reading that letter. And you see, if you look at how the Rock City Hotel Limited incorporation documents are, under our company laws, you need to have at least 2 directors. He's one of them. So, board of directors meeting, he's always there. If he's not there, they can't meet. So, he is there. He is the sole shareholder. He is the sole beneficial owner. In other words, any profit that Rock City makes goes to him. If Rock City runs into trouble and they have to sell somebody's assets, it will be his assets. Because it's him. It's Rock City, and Rock City is him. So he can't run away from it. So look, the point must be made that this deal, apart from the conflict of interest angles, apart from the violations of Article 78, Article 98, apart from the violations of Article 284, it cannot be in the national interest. That is why I am proposing a private members legislation.
Okay.
And work is advancing very impressively. I want to salute Professor Azar and colleagues who are helping us on this private members bill. We want to ban. You see, people are taking advantage of gray areas, even though there's conflict of interest in our constitution that Article 284, no public official should put himself in a position where his private interest conflicts with his public, mandate. But clearly people are taking advantage. So we want a very explicit, a very clear and precise piece of legislation that will ban all politicians and politically exposed persons. I don't want people to think that, we are doing this because the Honorable Brad Champong is not NDC or is not from our political tradition. No, it's not about the individual. It's about the principle. And I am saying that, look, the time has come for us to just end this whole business of politicians. So, look, when they give you state assets to manage on all of us our behalf, if it was 6 hotels, why don't you make it 8? Make it 10 or 12. Add to it so that those coming after us, our children, our children's children, will look up to us and say, we did well. We've become so irresponsible. I mean, for us, since Nkrumah, so only Nkrumah should build assets for us. Then we are just selling. What are we leaving behind for the younger ones? So nobody is thinking about adding to these assets. This discussion should have been about, after all these presidents, they left us 6 hotels. We have added 2 to it. or we have renovated, we've expanded it. If it was employing 3,000 young people, now it can employ 5,000 people.
Okay.
That is what this discussion should have been about.
Okay.
So we want to ban this practice. I am fully convinced that when politicians cannot participate, you can't eat some of the pie, or let me say some of the Sandler meat, since we are in Sandler period.
Exactly, yeah.
If you know you can't get some of the Sandler meat to eat, you will not go to cabinet and be talking, let's sell. Why is it that always there are so many in this management, there are so many options available? Why are politicians always quick to go for the selling option so that they can go behind the scenes and buy it?
When will this bill be ready?
We want it to be ready in this parliament. So that's why at our press conference today, we appealed to the president that he should stand by to assent to it. We don't want him to do what he's been doing to other private members' bill, where he causes his secretary to write a cease and desist letter to parliament. We want him to really support this effort and to sign this to become law. But if he doesn't, I'm very convinced, I have absolutely no doubt in the capacity of President Mahama, who inshallah will be the next president of Ghana, January 7, 2025, to assent to this bill. So we are hoping that before we rise, this bill should be ready. But we will also do stakeholder consultations. When the draft is ready, we'll share it with you in the media, we'll share it with civil society, and we will have roundtables so that we can all make inputs into the bill.
Sammy, I'm grateful for passing through.
Thank you.
Samuel Okujuta Ablakwa, ASD, Member of Parliament for North Tone. This is still the pulse here on the JoyNews channel. Now, away from that, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly has taken, a significant step towards making sure that its collections of revenue is digitized. So what they've done is that they've launched their centralized digital service payment platforms. And we have been there, we've monitored how this is. Our reporter has been there to gauge whatever they have in stock, and we have more in this report.
This new system allows rate players to make payments conveniently from their homes, shops, or any location, marking an important shift from the inefficient manual processes of the past. Mayor of Accra, Elizabeth Saki, is excited about the new system.
Today we've got into the cashless system. Why? Because when I came, I tried to do some small research from the market itself, and I realized that they weren't able to pay their revenue because people go there to collect with tickets. And then they also reported to me that having the tickets, they are not comfortable with it because they realize that when they pay to them, they put it into their packets and there's no development in the market, and so many excuses and reasons for them not paying. So I came back, and then with the management, I decided that we should go cashless.
As part of the platform's rollout, the AMA has been engaging with businesses in Okaishi, at the heart of the central business district of Accra. JoyNews has been speaking to some of these traders.
I would say the previous platform for payment was quite, difficult as compared to the current one. This time around, in the comfort of our office, we can do the payment. It's just by text message, then we follow the prompts, and we are able to do it. But my only problem with the new one is that when it gets to the check session, whereby you have to pay with a check or cash, they have a limit. The amount should be more than 3,000 before you can use the check. So when they even send you the bill and it's less than 3,000, companies like us that we have to pay with check, we can't do that. We are forced to use the mobile money or other platform before we can do the payment. So if that can be worked on, maybe reduce the limit to 2,000 or 1,000, then that will be fine for us.
I think previously they have to bring us a bill before we make payments, and now they send us a message on our phone, and I think that one is better because we are always careful using our phone. You will never get it lost. it will never get lost. With the bill, sometimes get lost. When they are in to pick, collect money to, sometimes looking for the invoice or the receipt after payment too, you have difficulty with it sometimes because it might get lost. But with the new system, everything is on the phone for you. We can always reach out to it and show anybody who walks in to come and check whether you have paid it or not. Yeah.
Second Vice President of GUTA, Charles Jan, hails the new platform, describing it as innovative and strategic.
We are talking about the AMA digitization, which is something that we consider very, very innovative and very, very strategic, in the sense that in the past, we encountered several problems. There were doubts of people who come around to issue receipts or to issue invoices. We are doubts with people who come around that we pay monies to. These things have been a problem for a very long time, but coming up with the digitization, it is affording us the opportunity to pay at our own time. There are no more stresses. You can pay us at when you want, but we always insist that you should pay before the period ends. At least by the last quarter of the year, you should have paid. So for us, we say it is a good innovation that all assemblies throughout Ghana should follow.
Welcome back from the break. Let's return to our earlier story about the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, which has now digitalized its revenue collection, and we've been joined in the studio by the Director of Revenue, so the Head of Budget and Rating at the AMA. He's Noble Achu Ahaji. I have him in studio now. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank
now, so do I take it that as we speak, if anyone wants to make payment to the Assembly, it has to go through that platform?
Yes, it has to go through that platform. But then we're doing a pilot at Asie Duketeke. That's the main central business district.
Okay.
So that is why we are doing a pilot for now. We are expecting that after the pilot, we extend it to the other 2 sub-metros so that it will cover the whole area, the whole metropolis.
Okay. So run me through how it works. How does it work?
Yes, what we do is that somewhere last year, we went out to collect data on the businesses. You know, we have the various blocks within our municipality. So from block to block, we pick the businesses that are there, we pick data on them in terms of the contact, in terms of the business name, in terms of location, the business owner's name, and the type of business you are doing, the categorization, and how much you are supposed to pay. So we pick this data and we process the data. So based on that data, we give that data out, and that enables us to be able to send out bills to our customers. So you receive an SMS message, then you follow the prompt from there. You follow the message, and you'll be able to do your payment based on what you have received. We know we may have internet challenges at some places, so we are also making use of the USSD code, where when you want to pay, you dial *222*33#. Then that will help you. No matter the type of phone you are using, you'll be able to go through and make payment. So immediately you receive a message, you just tap on the link, then you'll be able to follow and do the payment. And as you do your payment, you receive the receipt, and you can print your business certificate, which you can display in your shop, so that when we come for monitoring, we'll see that and good to go.
So that has nothing to do with the daily revenue collection, like the ticketing and all of that. That's not part.
Yes, ticketing was part of it. The daily collection, the daily toll was part of what we started. Initially, we were looking at the bulk goods. We are looking at the market tolls, the parking tolls, and the business operating permit. But then, you know, you may go out with a digitalized form of collecting revenue. But then at the same time, you need your customers to give you a feedback on whatever you are doing. So when we went out with the daily toll, their feedback informed us that we have to withdraw and do some few things.
Okay.
Currently, we are doing the daily toll alongside the manual collection of the daily toll.
Okay.
Because we realize that some of them are interested in doing the daily tolls on their phone. So on your phone, you do the payment. So we've encouraged those who want to do it. Then we go back to put some few things in place to be able to roll it out fully. So that is currently, that is what is happening. But with business operating permit, it's fully operational.
Okay. What sort of efficiency has that brought to your operations?
Yes, a lot of efficiency. One, at the comfort of the person's office or home, he is able to do payment. You don't need to receive bill because the SMS message will come. Then based on that, you do your payment. Then also, the issue whereby you have the traders arguing with our revenue collectors, why they said, no, this is the amount you have to pay. No, last time I paid, but I can't find my receipt. It's over. That struggle, that sort of confrontation is no more. Then also, back in the office, on what we have, on the system, real time, you'll be able to see what is happening. For instance, if a shop A owner do payment right away on the system, I'll be able to see it. Other people who have access to the system, like the mayor, like my coordinating director, the finance director, and so on, all of them will see that this person has paid. This is the amount you have paid. This is what is left. So you realize that that monitoring and that transparency will be there. For the ratepayer who has paid, that accountability is there because you have your receipt, which you can produce that I have paid.
Okay.
Yes. So,
what about people trying to shortchange the system prior to this particular platform that you've had? Have you seen any difference between the revenue collection and when it was manual?
yes, there is a lot of difference. For instance, within the market, when they interviewed Mayor, she said when she came, she observed the system and small research she got information from, realized that people have a lot of tickets they give out. And if you go to the market, sometimes the sort of tickets they give out, you may not be able to distinguish between the genuine one and the fake one. That has been a lot of difficulty. So that makes some of them saying that I will not pay because this money I'm paying, I don't know where it is going. There is no assurance that this money is hitting the account of AMA to be used for development project. So you realize that a lot of people know they have to pay, but some of them are not willing to pay because they realize the sort of ticket they receive are different and they don't know what is happening.
Okay.
So currently, on the dashboard, you will be able to see what we have been able to generate these few months and compared to what the previous years, 2022, 23, you can see the difference.
Okay.
So the inflow is good. And we hope our ratepayers will cooperate with us and we also take their feedback and be able to improve the system and get things moving. So it's getting better than it used to be.
Is it a third-party contract?
Yes, mostly this involves a lot of financial commitment and infrastructure, which most of the times you may not have the expertise to do that. So it's good to rely on a third party to have that agreement. Then you get into it, you get them to help you to be able to do some of the things. From our end, what we are doing is that we are providing full support. That collaboration is there from the leadership of the assembly, from the assembly members down to the last person, so that we'll be able to get this thing. It is not for the third party, it is for the assembly. So we are giving all necessary support to make sure it succeeds.
So in terms of what we've received, how much is it? What's the quantum like? On the platform? Yes.
The inflow. Yes, as of today, for Asiedu Keteke, we've been able to rake in about 1.6 million.
1.6 million?
Yes. We are yet to go out. Okay. The 1.6 million that we can see on the platform is just those who decide voluntarily to do their payment. We have not gone out for enforcement.
Okay.
We have not out there chasing any shop owner, pay. No. There is time for that.
Okay.
When we go out as a team, then we'll see the inflow. For now, we are doing education, we are creating awareness, we are helping them. Those who have challenged, maybe you have received a bill and you think what you have received is too high, or this is not the correct classification, we go out to help you to correct some of those things.
And this is for January to this time, or from when to when?
Yes.
January to this time?
January to June now.
And that's just the voluntary. You have not gone to enforce?
Yes.
Wow. Then that's a wonderful system then. So what the third party, how long will the third party be with you?
Yes, for now they're on pilot basis. After the pilot, that will be determined by us.
Also, you've not determined, what's the arrangement like? The arrangement. I mean, the third party is offering services. I'm sure there will be some cost sharing of a sort. Yeah?
Yes, that will come out later.
Okay. You have not discussed that also?
Yeah, we've not discussed that into detail. Okay. But the details will come out.
Okay. So, I mean, now that the third party is rendering a service, you've had over something million cedis. What is the share of that money for the third party?
No, we've not started sharing. It's right in the account for now.
Okay.
And that will be discussed.
Later?
Yes.
Wow. And that's for just the central business district?
Yes, that's for the central business district.
If you roll it out to the AMA entirety, then that will rake in a lot of money for you.
And that is what we are looking forward to. Because for now, we need to leverage on technology and improve our services.
Okay.
We are not only looking at the revenue generators and assembly, no, but we are looking at making the services very efficient and very convenient to our ratepayers, so that whatever that will come will be used for development projects, which will go to benefit all citizens.
So when do you intend ending the trial process and then beginning the real work itself?
Yes, the trial, we are doing it up to the end of the year.
Okay.
Then from next year, we should be able to kick off in all the 3 sub-metros.
What sort of lessons have you picked since you started using the system?
Yes, one lesson is that it brings about transparency. Transparency with the revenue collection we are having, transparency on the part of the ratepayers. Then we've also learned from this that it is very important to engage the people. You cannot only leverage on technology and do what you want to do, but the people matters, and they should be at the center of what you are doing. You take their feedback to improve whatever system you have. They should be at the center of what you are doing. We have also learned that rendering such a service involve the internet and involve using mobile phone and involve other means, so you should have alternative arrangement. Then also, if the ratepayer is supposed to pay, it shouldn't be a cost to him. So, to him or her. So for now, if you are using the service, you have to use your mobile money to pay. There is no extra charge for you.
Okay.
If it is 10
the telcos don't take any charge?
They don't take any charge. If it is 10 cedi, you have to pay as your bill. You just pay the 10 cedi. You don't have to pay any extra on it. And that is to help to bring everybody on board so that we can have that inclusivity and participation in revenue mobilization and collection.
Every system has its own challenges. What sort of challenge do you have with your platform?
Yes, the challenge we have right now, one is with the internet service, where you may not be able to get at every place. And that is why we've put in place the USD code. The other challenge has to do with the threshold in terms of issuing check. The threshold is 3,000. From 3,000 and above, you can easily use the system to do check payment.
Okay.
But we are reviewing that. We've talked to our partners, and they are ready to come out with a very innovative one, which will bring the figure down for anybody who wants to pay with check. Maybe even with 500 cedis, do check payment.
Okay. Oh, okay. So I can use check to still pay on the system?
Yes.
How possible?
Yes.
How is that possible?
So when you go to the payment option, you see check there. You see bank transfer. So whatever you want to do, you click on that and you'll be able to pay through the bank.
Oh.
Within the system.
So if I want to pay with check, I have to scan the check?
No, you don't have to scan the check. You generate a receipt that you send to the bank and you do the payment there.
Oh, okay.
You generate an invoice that you send to the bank and you do your payment to the bank.
And you get a notification?
Yeah, we'll get a notification.
Samuel has paid through the bank.
Yes.
And then you send his certificate to him through his phone.
He will be able to print his certificate. Immediately we get a notification. He will be able to print his certificate.
So those who are using the, in quote, YAM phones, how do they get their certificate printed?
Yes, for that one, you may not be able to get your certificate. Yeah, you may not be able. But when you are using the Android, you'll be able to get it. And you can either get it to other places to be printed for you if you cannot do it yourself. Even if you come to the office, we'll still help you.
Okay, what's the lesson for other assemblies who will be watching by now?
Yes, I believe with the technological age, it is good we should leverage on technology and improve our services so that convenience comes to our ratepayers. At the comfort of our offices, we can also monitor and be able to improve service delivery to our people. The manual way of doing things may not help us or it's not helping us. And that is why we have to move away from that and be able to deliver a service that we can be proud of.
You hope that this has dealt with corruption? You believe that it has dealt with corruption?
To a large extent. To a large extent. Because we will not have people who issue different tickets to ratepayers or different receipts to ratepayers. But this one, you generate the receipt yourself. And we will also be able to see within the system that this is how much you have paid, and this is what we have done. And now, if we go out, we want to see those who are defaulted, those who haven't paid. It is very easy for us to see that on the dashboard and be able to print a list that these are the people who haven't paid. These are our ratepayers, and these are the challenges we have. So it's so easy for us.
All right. I'm grateful to you, sir, for joining us.
Thank you.
So he is the head of budgeting and rating at the AMA, Noble Achu Ahaji. This is still the Pulse on the JoyNews channel. Now, moving to our Safe Water series today. Today, for our Safe Water campaign, we'll tell you the story of how some residents of the Upper East region, town of Pugu, are forced to depend on dirty water from streams and dug out from their household for their household chores and sometimes consumption. Our regional correspondent Albert Sorry follows one of the residents as he goes in search of water for his family. Watch this.
Pugu, a small, decent, and relatively quiet town in the Talense district of the Upper East region. This town is famous for the defunct Pugu tomato factory and now the failed Pugu multipurpose dam project. But what many may not be aware of is how difficult it is for some of the residents of Pugu to get water for their homes. This is the Anogolayu suburb of Pugu. For the people who live here, getting water to do anything is tantamount to going on a hunt. It is approaching midday, and Wilson Abba, one of the residents here, goes in search of water for his family, accompanied by his 4-year-old daughter. Wilson had hoped that this stream, about 600 meters behind his house, would have some water, but he is not lucky today. The water that used to be here has dried up because there has been no rain for over 2 weeks. Wilson must go further in his search. Finally, he arrives at another stream a little over a kilometer away from his house. This one contains some stagnant, milky water. not the kind of water you would imagine humans using, but for the residents in this part of Pualugu, this has become normal for them.
We drink it, we use it for cooking, we use it for a lot. If you have nothing to do about the cleanness of the water, all you can see is that it's okay. For Anugolayu area here, I don't think we have a well or borehole. Our source of water we get is mostly around the stream here. The people staying around Anugolayu area, we are many, up to 200 or 300.
The animals too come here to drink. Wilson takes the water home to his wife, who immediately uses it to wash their dishes.
A lot of people have been falling sick because it's very, very dirty and you can't drink that water. But sometimes when there is no water, you have to force and take it that way. You can get cholera from there. Stomach pains, you can get it from there. Typhoid, you can get it from there. Sometimes we do move to the police training school to fetch water there. But when you go there and the students are overcrowded there, they don't allow us to fetch water there.
Many of the residents here also create dugouts near their homes for water.
I did it personally because I believe that would serve closer to my house. Lucky enough, there was water. A day it could serve up to 100 people. But the support that will help this make it a permanent well or a permanent borehole is not there. So when it happens, so the first rain that came washed a lot of dirt into it, so that one is closed.
Assemblyman for the Pualugu electoral area, Moses Adongo, says water scarcity is a problem affecting the entire Pualugu township.
The population of Pualugu is within 5,000 to 6,000 as we speak today. And there are over 1,000 people suffering on water. Because if you go to Kukong area, they suffer with water. If you go to Akari area, towards the Balungu road, they suffer with water. 2014 that they came to make community development water. But the supply of the water isn't enough. Now that we are struggling with assembly to see if we can get a borehole.
For now, the people of Anugolayu here in Pualugu continue to depend largely on the dirty water from their streams and dugouts until an intervention arrives. Albert Sori, JoyNews, Pualugu.
That is a very sad situation there. Albert Sori, who did the story, joins me now via Zoom. Albert, grateful for joining. That's an appalling condition. How long has this been? And is there any respite coming to the residents? Albert, you might want to unmute so we can hear what you're telling us. So I want to find out from you how long this situation has persisted, because look, looking at the water people are drinking, that's quite an eyesore. So how long has it persisted, and is there any respite coming to the residents soon?
Yes, so from what the residents are telling us, this situation has been there since they've been in the community. So it is something they have lived with for many, many years. Even their parents and their grandparents live with that situation. It is something that the entire Pualugu township is grappling with, because even though they have a town water system, it is not able to supply the thousands of people that live in this area. So for the residents who live in this community in particular, and those that are a bit far from where the water system is, they have to rely on sources like the streams and the dugouts that we've seen in the story. So this is something that they have dealt with for many, many years.
Why is it that the country cannot provide them good sources of drinking water? I mean, if they've gone through this all these years, why have we found it difficult to do it? Have you spoken to authorities? What have they been telling you?
Yeah, so when we spoke to the assemblyman, one of the things he told us was that the area is sort of rocky. The topography is full of rocks. So most of the time, when they even get, contracts for the drilling of boreholes, when the contractors get to the area, they find it difficult to drill to the point where they will hit the water table. So normally they have a sort of limit, which everywhere they go, they are able, once they drill to that limit, they are able to get water. But in the case of Pugu, most of the time when they drill, they are not able to get to the water at that particular point. And so the contract would have to decide that they will pay the contractor more so that they drill to where they can get the water. But unfortunately, this is not something that they are able to afford. So the few times they've had borehole contracts, when they drill, they are not able to get water. And that is why they have the situation. So if you look at the community that we visited, the Pugu Police Training School is not far away from it. So sometimes they are able to get water because the training school has a borehole and which is mechanized. So they get the opportunity sometimes to get some clean water from there. But of course, this is a security zone, if you like. It's a police training school, so not everyone can enter at any time that they want. And even when the students are many, the police trainees are many, they don't give them the opportunity to come in and fetch water. So that basically explains their situation.
Is the same community where we want to put up the Pugu Dam?
No, because where the Pugu Dam is, I mean, if you talk about the Pugu Dam, of course, this is the township. This is the Pugu Township. But where the dam is located is not close to where we visited because the drawings and the research that we've done over the time shows that the reservoir of the Pugu multipurpose dam is going to be around some of the communities in the northeast region. Okay. So although it is called the Pugu multipurpose dam, the reservoir won't be located in Pugu because of topography issue. So it's not close to this.
No, I ask that because I'm asking myself, can't we find a way to draw the water from a river source close by and process it and send it to this community? Can that option be explored?
This morning, we had the district chief executive for the Talense district on the AM show to talk about this story. And one of the things he said was that, just as I explained, because of the difficulty they have drilling to the point where they can get water in Pugu, even the town water system, they draw the water from the nearest town, which is in Balungu, if I remember correctly. Now, this is a town about 2 kilometers or so away from Pugu, and they have to get the water pumped all the way from that place to supply the Pugu township. But I mean, the assemblyman told us that the population there is about 5,000, so that's not enough to supply everyone. And of course, not everybody is close to the town water system. So those who cannot get this water have to find other means to get water. Now, one of the things these residents told us was that sometimes when they get the opportunity, they have to rent tricycles, as you are seeing on the video, to go to where the boreholes are and then fill, jerry cans and containers and all of that. But that also comes at a price. And some of the communities are not even accessible. So the tricycles cannot carry the water to them. So that on it in itself is a different challenge that they have to deal with. And so now we are getting into the rainy season. So they will have a situation where they can harvest rainwater anytime it rains, and that will sort of augment, or give them some source of water for the time being. But once we get to the rainy season, in fact, they were showing me some pictures on their phones of how the dugouts looked like before the rain started this year, and some of the dugouts that they had collapsed. Where you are seeing them fed is more than a kilometer from where this man lives with his family. So he had to walk all the way, and we had to walk with him to the place. So it's a very, very sad situation for these residents.
I know there are a couple of non-governmental organizations that work up north. Hasn't any of them ventured into this situation to provide them potable water? I mean, however they can. I know that you said that the rocks are quite hard, but aside that, can't we explore any other means? What about rainwater harvesting on a large scale that we could process for these people to have potable water?
Yes, these are options, but the challenge is funding. So I'm sure maybe because we are doing the story now, some organizations may come to the aid of the community. For instance, the assemblyman was telling me that even the trainees of the police training school years ago even always had to leave their campus to places outside to get water. It was about 4 or 5 years ago that one of the banks supported them with a mechanized borehole in the school. And so yes, the hope is that once we tell this story, organizations that will see it may come to their aid, and then possibly, explore the area to see what kind of measures they can take to get water for them. Because I was asking him that one of the residents said he had made a dugout. The gentleman we interviewed in the story said he created a dugout very close to his house, and it was giving them a lot of water. But after some time, when the rains came, there was some sort of landslide, so the pit was covered. Now, I was asking him if somebody on his own is able to dig to the point where he gets water, how come the borehole drilling companies are not able to do it? And he said that the water that they get from the dugouts is what they call surface water, which is not what they get when they drill boreholes. What they get from boreholes, is further down the earth. So the two situations are completely different.
But once the police...
But just to add that one of the things they were telling us was that if, for instance, they can even get a well-constructed well, which can give them water all the time, that can also help them. Because, if you look at that stream, what they told us was that that place was, it wasn't initially a stream. It was a place where people come to fetch sand, like tipper trucks come to fetch sand for construction. And over the time, because of the excavation, it eventually turned into a sort of water body. And so when it rains, water gathers there, and that is where they go to collect water in the absence of the dugout that they had earlier on. Yeah. So it's going to take some sort of research, some sort of investigation to know how they can supply these residents with water.
Now, the Pugu community is a community of how many residents?
Yeah, so the assemblyman told us that the population is about 5,000 people.
Wow, that's a number.
There are more than 1,000. Sorry?
I said that's a number.
Yes, and there are so he says that out of the 5,000, the people who are struggling generally to get water are in their thousands. He said about 1,000. But if you look at how he was even mentioning the number of communities in the area where the people struggle to get water. And if you look at it, it will be more than 1,000. It could even be about half of the population, because the Pugu township itself is densely populated, and there are so many other suburbs outside of it. So that is the situation that we have.
Albert, grateful to you for that. Kindly follow up, because this is quite a situation that we need to find a solution to. Thanks for all the good work you do up there. Albert, sorry, is our man in the Upper East region of Ghana. Now, let's do politics now, because we're just a few months, I mean, we're, let's say, 6 months away from the 2024 elections. We're in June, right? In December, we'll be going to the polls to elect a new leader of the country. Now, most of these parties have started movement here and there. One of them is the Movement for Change. We've seen a lot of activities. We've seen the sort of alliances they are building and the message they are selling across. We've been joined in the studio by a leading member of the Movement for Change, Dr. Ramsey Inusa, to share with us some of the things that they are up to now. Doc, grateful. Thanks and welcome.
Good evening to you, Sam. Good evening to your cherished viewers.
Okay.
I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of our leader, Honorable Alan Kojo Tramantin, to wish my Muslim brothers and sisters an Eid al-Adha and an Eid al-Mubarak. And hopefully, going into the December polls, they would uphold to principles that will not let any politician divide us based on our religious affiliation, but they will be guided by integrity and the mindset that Ghana, over the past 32 years now, has had a failed successive form of governance system coupled by the duopoly of the MPP and the NDC.
Okay.
That is why a movement has appeared to reorient the growth of this country and the plan of this country, that we need to move away from party manifestos and table down a long-term developmental plan that each and every political entities and CSOs and other national stakeholders would orient their planning to, so that we can be able to leapfrog Ghana from poverty to prosperity.
And what is that plan?
So we have the Great Transformational Plan. And under the Great Transformational Plan, there are 6 different clusters, and that tackles the rising issues of Ghana. You look at the economy of Ghana currently. We are mostly an import-oriented economy. Now, we want to build a self-sufficient economy that will be coupled by industrialization, so that Ghana, being blessed with a lot of natural resource endowment, will be able to add more value to our natural resources and also increase our exports, so that we can earn more foreign reserves to be able to stabilize the cedi and make it stronger.
Okay. But you know that the plan that everyone has to tie into, every political party has to make sure its plans or manifestos are tying into, is that of the National Development Planning Commission, right?
Absolutely.
How does the Great Transformation Plan, patch or tie into that particular plan?
Absolutely. You realize that for every plan to succeed in our current political dispensation, there is the need for a political will, right? And if you look at the current standing of our constitution, that gives absolute power to one person. It means that if any party comes with this agenda, right, and the National Development and Planning Commission advises the government on the best way forward as far as our long-term development plan is, and it's not in line with the party's manifesto agenda, it is put aside, right? We've seen a lot of wastage in government expenditure on certain projects that today, if we had allocated it to even the people in Pugu, I'm not sure we would have been talking about potable drinking water, people not having access to potable drinking water in Pugu, right? And so that Great Transformational Plan would also work in consonance with the National Development Planning Commission, in line with their vision, because they are more of policy advisory, right? But ours is more than policy.
No, you know now they've even brought out a plan. It's there, the 50-year development plan.
50-year development plan.
The one they launched recently.
Yes.
Yes.
And
they say that that's more like a framework that you have to tap into to ensure.
The Great Transformational Plan is the only long-term developmental plan in line with that of the NDPC.
Okay.
And so we are adding more value to what they already have stipulated and what they've already launched. But you and I know that for the past 32 years now, the NDPC has been in existence for quite some time now. If indeed they had that mandate given to them, I'm sure we would have seen some sort of long-term development in our national infrastructure and our governance system. But of course, because Ghana has been polarized, right, and dominated by two dominant parties that have formed a duopoly, it's like the winner takes all. And so they don't listen to best advice. It's based on their agenda and their interests. You understand? That brings them to government that they execute for their own parochial interests. You understand? But then the Great Transformational Plan taps into all concerns of these statutory bodies, right? And also other stakeholders based on their interests and best practices as far as our governance is concerned.
Okay. So you're saying that the game changer is the Great Transformation Plan?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
We've had political parties tell us that their policy and manifestos are the savior, yet we see nothing.
Absolutely.
How different will yours be?
Why ours is different is because you realize that, first and foremost, great nations of this world, right, were not built by political parties, right? But they were built by leaders. If you look at Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew. If you look at China, after Mao Zedong, Deng Xiaoping came into place, and today China has been transformed into one of the industrious nations. And so you have to first and foremost look at the person in the picture. Who is talking, right? And if you look at Honorable Alan Kojo Tramantin and his achievements in the private sector and both public and also the public sector, it shows clearly that he has an unblemished track record, right? If you look at the automotive policy that he formulated under this current administration when he was the Minister for Trade and Industry. Today, Sam, we should be proud to say that Ghana has the capacity to assemble over 125,000 vehicles a year, right? And this same person, having a vision to transform Ghana into an industrious nation, has created a policy where there will be some entities called the BRCs, the Business Resource Centers, that will be established across each district.
We already have them, don't we?
He implemented that. That was under his tenure, and that was his brainchild.
So there's no need to implement again. You say you would implement. I'm saying that.
No, but I'm just showing you, I'm giving you a track record. You asked me why do we have to believe in his policy and his vision, and why do we have to support his candidature? And so before you come into office, you have to tell us what you have done and what you are capable of doing. So I am laying it before you that this is a person that established the BRCs to support Ghanaian enterprises and entrepreneurs. So indeed, if Ghana has been able to attract these large global automotive companies to come and assemble vehicles in Ghana, right, they will need resources. And so if we look at our aluminium and bauxite industry, right, if a Ghanaian company goes into partnership with another company, maybe in China, for its acquisition of its technology to transform our bauxite and aluminium industry, it would add more value, create employment opportunities, right? So in the long term, if Ghana is exporting vehicles under the auspices of the African Continental Free Trade Area, which this great man was also part of the key architects in the formulation of AFTA, right? And we will be able to gain a lot of foreign exchange, right, through this industry. And it's a multi-billion industry, as you know. And 2027 is projected to rise at over $46 billion. And so if, say, a year, Ghana rakes in $2 or $3 billion from the automotive industry, I mean, you can imagine the magic it will do in this country.
No independent candidate has been able to, win election, presidency in this country.
Yes.
Where do you draw your energy and confidence from that you can do it in 2024?
My brother, Sam, in 1949, June 1949, the 12th of June, something phenomenal happened in the history of Ghana. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who was brought in to support the UGCC for the struggle against independence, right, left on principle because he realized that the UGCC was moving away from its founding principles and values.
Okay.
Right? And people said, oh, Nkrumah will not go anywhere because he had what? Veranda boys around him. That's what they said. You remember? But, of course, Nkrumah, being a patriotic citizen of this country and a Pan-African, knows very well that he owes fealty to the people of Ghana.
Okay.
And that Ghana is he owes fealty to the people of Ghana, that Ghana is apical to any other interest of his, right? He formed the CPP, gained support from the Ghanaian youth, and became the first president of Ghana.
So that's what you intend to do?
That is what we intend to do.
Okay.
And of course, looking at also the other candidates that are in the race. I mean, if we would speak truth, right? John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, the former president, is a known figure in Ghana's politics, right? Alhaji Baumia is a known figure. He is currently the vice president and the chair of the economic management team, right?
Okay.
He came into office.
So you can do better than all of them.
Of course.
But we've seen a picture of Cheddar with Mr. John Alancharawantin.
Yes.
Is there, an alliance coming through between the two?
For that, I don't know yet, but I mean, we welcome any alliance with any entity in Ghana that would help us remove this current corrupt system that has been propagated by the duopoly of the MPP and the NDC.
All right.
So that we can be able to leapfrog Ghana from poverty to prosperity. And we also stand in solidarity with the media.
Okay, I hear.
And you realize that Press Freedom Index.
Thank you, Doc. I'm grateful to you for joining us. If I leave you, we'll talk on and on, and I would never wrap up.
But we hope that you would invite us more to
sure.
elaborate. Because we realize that the media is also contributing to the duopoly of the
We
MPP.
always call you to come. Here on Pulse, we've had you so many times. I'm grateful to you for coming. That's Dr. Zakaria
Ramsey
Inusa. He is with the Movement for Change. Well, this is what QNet is doing, and there's a lot more to happen. And that's how we wrap up today's Pulse for you here on the JoyNews channel. But there's more on myjoyonline.com. Let me share with you a bit of what is on myjoyonline.com. It says, I will eliminate all wasteful projects if elected. That according to President Mahama, former President Mahama. And you also have the system, the hospital in Ojobi community failed her, Otiko Jaba, on abandoned patients. So that those are some of the stories on myjoyonline.com. Well, thanks for being a part of us today. It's been an honor to have you here. This has been Pulse. My name is Samuel Kojobrace. On behalf of the team, I express gratitude to you for joining us. God willing, we'll meet some other time. Good evening.